is how to remove this question and then put it into Excel or Power BI. Now you still go back to data and then go down to this download. There is an option here called download. Let me delete this first download here. So when you get to this option called download, you want to remove this data in the form of XLS, which is Excel. You could still do it in the form of SCP. These are different names of files with different uses. These are other in-depth lessons that I'll be teaching on my YouTube channel. But today, we commonly use Excel. So I'll use Excel, and sometimes we can use SCP files, especially when we want to connect to online platforms. But today I want us to use XLS. So we want to select the form, we want to export, as you can see here. But we want to export in the form of Excel, so we choose Excel. We also want to export the labels. We don't want the values and the headers, we just want the labels. When we get into Excel, I'll show you what that means. Also, I would like to come to this advanced option here. When I choose my advanced option here, you see that something happens. It shows me that all my questions have been selected by default. But sometimes all your questions will not be selected. Right now, this what if others please was not selected. So if I export this particular form, this question would have not appeared in my Excel. So I need to come here and really check to make sure that all are selected. I can unselect. I can decide to choose few questions that I want them to appear in my form here by just selecting all and then unchecking now, unselecting and saying that, hey, I don't want you, I don't want you, I don't want you. But in this case, I want us to select everything into our Excel. And these are just bugs, right? These are just bugs. When they go into your Excel, it might even create more issues. You have to go and start cleaning them and all that. So I might want to just unselect all this just to get just this portion of my form when I export. Now, once this is done, it's simple. Once this is done, I'll just go straight away and I bring this down. And then I click export. When I click export here, it brings the data again down here, showing me that, okay, what you want to export, this is the portion we want to allow you to take out of our Kobotoolbox space. I'll come here now and then I'll download what they have given me or ask me to take out. Once I download that, it brings me that version up here. There's always that small icon by the right end top corner of your machine. You will see the download there playing up there, and then you just click and then it opens. I could click enable editing, and then you see that's my data in my Kobotoolbox. You see that we had to delete some bulk files, right? So we don't see them here. And then we had to allow labels. Labels simply means the names that we have given to the form, and then we also chose the end and start date. So this is our data inside Excel. Now we can begin to clean this data here, but I don't want us to do the cleaning here. I want us to go right into Power BI and do the cleaning. I'm going to come here now and save this form. I'll just save it here and give it the name Power BI. And then I'll save it on my desktop. And then I write save. Then I want to check to see whether I have saved it. So here we have it, Power BI here. It is saved here. So the other option, the other version you see is because I've allowed my machine to save my document on the physical desktop and also in cloud. So I cannot lose this document. Each time I get into cloud, I'll see that document as well. That's another training for another time and another space. So here we have exported that file. So let's see how to launch our Power BI and bring that file in. When you open your Power BI, there is a data here where you say learn with sample data. I don't want us to get here. This data is mostly concerned supermarket and all those other areas, those kind of data. But since we are dealing with humanitarian, we can come here and go directly and say Excel workbook and then pick that our workbook and come in. There are other servers that we can get data from. But I want us to go to blank report. Click blank report because there are some things I want to show you. So around here, look at this the same way you look at Word document, the same way you look at Excel. Okay, it was designed in the same way, the same style. But before we put data in, I just want to show you some few areas that you need to know. This area called report view, this is where we are going to be doing our viewing our report in a form of visualizations. This other area called table view is where the table we are bringing in, we are going to see it here. This is where it's going to land us. And then here is a modeling view where we create relationships. These are all the technical lessons that we are going to be looking at in future. But most of the time we deal with humanitarian data and development data. We really don't do a lot of connections most of the times, but we can still do connections though. But today I want us to go around here and just look at some of the basic things we see around here. We are going to be learning these other items practically as we move ahead. But today I want us to just go to this option that says get data. Remember that we can get data directly from Excel, which we want to do now, and these other sources. But when I click this get data, it gives me different options. This web is what we are going to be using to connect our Kobotoolbox to this Power BI, but we are not going there yet. Now I want us to take this Excel workbook. We are going to click Excel workbook. Once we click Excel workbook, it already brings us to my desktop. This is our data that we just uploaded from or downloaded from Kobotoolbox, right? We named it Power BI, right? I'll select that data and I click open. Once I click open Power BI, I love the tool. It is going to take time to bring that data in. It takes time. It will take time to process the data, check the quality of the data, check a lot of things, and then brings it in. Now Power BI is asking me that this is the data I want to review or preview. I'm going to click here and then it previews the data here for me. You see? So from here, I can start previewing the data. This is the same thing we did in Power Query in Excel. Get data is the same thing we did. The same, 100% the same. The only difference is that we're going to be visualizing here a lot. So now that I've previewed, I always love to go to transform data. Because when I click my transform data, I'm telling that data that I want to clean it. I want to fix some aspect of the data. I want to fix it. I want to remove some things I don't want to see and allow just the things I want to see. The same thing we did in Power Query in Excel is the same thing we are doing here, no difference. So and now, while I bring my data here, I want to be very quick. At the same time, not rushing us. I'll come to this option that says transform. The option that I'll go to home now. I want to go to home. What I want to do here around home is that I want to choose specific columns. So you have choose columns, remove columns, keep rows and all that. So I want to just choose specific columns for us to use. I'll come here and I choose my columns. And then it gives me all my columns, you see. And then I'll unselect and I say I just want to choose the activities and I want to choose the sector. I want to choose total boys, I want to boys, girls, total children. I want to choose all the statuses and I choose total status and I click OK. You see, I have just chosen the columns that I really want to use. These are the columns I want to use. I'll go to each column and I'll double click. Now I'm already cleaning my data. This is what you are going to be doing. You cannot analyze data with that question mark, right? So I'm cleaning my data. I'm turning this now from a questionnaire to just analysis. Because if the question mark is there, it means it is still at the point of collecting data, right? So I'll remove that. I'll just have my total children and that's it. I'll double click. I'll click there and I double click. So this is what you're going to be doing. It's very easy tool to use. I'll click here and I double click. Alright, so when I double click, my data still has some dates. I see new. I'm seeing new. Now, these things will happen in your data. Okay? A lot of things will be happening in your data. It's the system. It's the Microsoft system. So when you are bringing data in, some respondents might be doing some stuff on their machines and all that stuff. It might be bringing some bugs and all that coming from different kind of places. But know that this tool is protected. It cannot harm the tool, but it can harm your data. So what I'll do here now, I'll just come here to any filter here, and then I unselect this null and I click OK. Now my data has been cleaned. Beautiful. See how clean my data is. You see, my data now is very, very clean. And there is a sign to know that I have done something in this data. This particular funnel here is different, right? It shows that I've done an action here. Okay, so now under activities, like we saw in the other Power Query with Excel, we said ABC means you are dealing now with text, and 1, 2, 3 means you are dealing with numbers, right? Now I'll come very quick and I'll go to this option up here that says close and apply, and I'll click my close and apply. Once I click my close and apply, it brings me now into the Power BI report interface. So that data is coming in. It's taking its time. That's one thing I love Power BI. It's taking its time, no rush, taking its time to bring data in. So I really want us to go through this visualization, and then we'll just do a few minutes to show you how to connect these two simultaneously with Power BI, where when information is coming in, you can just drop in here. That way now you already have an understanding of how to visualize your data, and it makes life easy for you. So right here, it's amazing because right here you would see that automatically we have our small table that we brought in, data for impact. These are the things that we decided to come in. Okay? Activities, total hosts, total children, etc. They appear here. They are right here. The second area you see here is our visualization pan. So here, you realize that here you have all the different visualization. You have stack bar chart, you have stack column chart, you have clustered bar chart, you have clustered column chart, you have 100% stack bar chart, you have 100% column chart, you have line chart, you have all kinds of area chart, all kinds of here. Now, if we go back to the table view, you see our table here, right? If I double click, it appears here, it comes back here. You see, this is our table here. So you can come here and see our table here clearly. Now, I don't want us to go into some other details there. I don't want to confuse you. Let's go back to our report view here. And if we come to our modeling view, you see that that table appears here. We had two tables, all of them appear. We have four, all of them appear here. And they'll be asking you, is there any relationship? If there are relationship, it will begin to indicate for you to create those relationships. But we are not there. Let's go back to our report view. Now, in our report view, I want us to look at total children per activities. We want to see what we have done per activities based on the data you brought in. I'll come here now and I'll just click my total children. I'll first come here and I click a visual. Now, one thing I want to advise you is when you click a visual, learn to practically test things. Just test things. When you are here, don't be scared. Learn to test things. Learn to try things. I have just chosen the clustered bar chart. Now, I don't know how you perform. I don't still know how you perform. I want to see. So I'll come here now and I'll choose my activity. I'll select my activity. And then I select my total children. So before we continue our visualization, I just want to show you something very quick that will help you as well in your data management. Now, if you look at this data here, let's say I want to find out total children, because here I have boys and girls, right? Let's say this data came in and I forgot to import this data, total children. All I need to do is to press Control on my machine and then I select these two items. What I'm saying is boys plus girls. So I select this first and then I select the girls secondly. Now, the moment I select this, I'll just come to add column here and I choose. You see that this standard becomes alive. I'll click here now and then I see add and I click add. You see automatically it adds this column. This column now is girls plus boys or boys plus girls. Now I'll just put total children, right? Total children. Now, one other thing I want you to take note of. I can just hold this and I drag, you see, and I bring it around here and then I bring it around this area. Okay, I want to bring this right in this area, you see. Now I've put it here. Now you have it boys plus girls. You have this total here. Okay, you can still do that using subtraction, multiplication, but one thing you must know is the first column that you are selecting is what is being subtracted from the second column. Okay, The first column that you are selecting is what is being multiplied with the other column. Always take note of that. Okay, let's move on so I show you visualization. Yes, so once you select that, you find your visual here, and I'll advise you to first of all look around here. You would see that here you have y-axis, you have the x-axis. Okay, now the other thing I want you to also pay attention is I want us to move to this other area that says format your visual, and you click. When you come here, your y-axis will be active, your x-axis will be active. So let's start with y-axis and see how it behaves. So once I on off this, I'll look at the reaction of my visual. If I put it on, I look at the reaction of my visual. So you first of all have to have an objective, what you want to do with your visual. Okay, I want to clean this title here, and I want to clean this other title here. So I'll move around my y-axis again. I look at title is on, and I clean it. You see that that title goes off, right? Now I go down again, and then I bring this down. Now let's say I want to bring this text, make it bigger, right? I'll just increase it from here. You see that I can increase this from here. You see, that's it. I can bold it. You see, I can also change the color of the font size. You see, that's it. Very easy. So I just like to put it back to black, and then I go back to 9 where we are coming from, right? You see, so you can do a lot. Now this is just like your Word document page, right? I can also make them italic. I can also draw a line under each of them. You see, that's what is happening there. But of course I don't want to do all that now. The next thing I want us to do when we are done with that, we'll go now on the y-axis, on the x-axis, sorry. Now you find our values. If I click, the values goes off, right? Here now I don't want these lines that you see, the grid lines, and these values down here. So I'll click this one off. And then I don't want this title that says sum of total children. It makes my visual dirty. You see, now my visual is clean. Okay, perfect. I'll go up now, and I bring my x-axis down, and then I look around here. I'll see data labels on, and I click it on. They have been off. I'll click it on. It now brings my data labels on because I want to see the totals in numbers. I'll go under the data label. There's where you call values. Okay, I'll go under my values, and then they are also on. If I click the values off, you see that that value goes off. It's the same as data labels, right? I'll click my values on, and then I go under that values. I break that down, and I want to make it also bigger, right? I change it from 9 right up to 15. You see that the text is bigger now, and then I can put that in bold. I can also change the font size, right? So that is it. So now this one here is getting to blue. That's why it's matching with what was there already. You see, so black to show that these are the sizes of the labels, and we can change that. Now I can decide how to display my units. If I come here, I want to display it in terms of thousands. I'll click thousands. You see that it says 0,000. K stands for 1,000. It means that this value is not up to thousands. Let's say we had 1,100. So if I click these thousands, all you see there is 1K. Let's say we had 1,100,000. If I click 1 million or millions, you will just see 1 million plus or 1 million. Okay, so now I don't want none of them. I just want my values that way. Now I just want to break this down as well. Data labels, you see. Now I can go to the bars, right? And when I look at the bars, it shows me the colors, right? I can also change the color of my bars. That's it there. So it's very simple. Just play around this area and find out so many things there. It's amazing. Now I want to go to general here. It's very important. If I click general, I go under title. I want to change this title. I just want total children by activities, right? And then I'll see the title here, and I'll delete the text behind it. And then I can also come here, and then I bold. When I bold, it appears here. I see it right on my page. And then here I can also increase the font size. You see, I can also come here and I change the colors, right? So that's how simple it is. There's no big deal working with this tool. Here now I can position my titles just by clicking this, just as you work with Word document, right? So this is what we do when it comes to data. Now one other thing I want you to know is the effect. If I go under effect here, I'll just put that the shadow on, the visual border on. I love the visual border because when I put it on, each time I turn this to PDF, it shows the printed lines, right? And it allows me to also create borders and show the difference between a particular visual and the other visual. One other thing I want to show you when it comes to visuals that can really help you is that when you look at my Power BI, this area here is a filter area, okay, where you can filter your data. This other area is the visuals that we have seen here when you come to this particular options there, and then this area is for the data, right? You see that we have just put this in our X and Y axis. Here now it automatically appears up in this filter. So if I click here, I would see all my filters, okay? This is done by default based on the system. If I come here and I say I just want to see what is happening with just food providing, okay, you see I will see 30. If I say I want to add the other one, GBV, you see it appears here, and I can decide to send this to management like this, you see, and this is a good practice. I can also come here and I click here, and then I began to have numbers here as well. I might say I just want a number that is less than 12, right, or that is less than 20, right? Perfect. And then I apply my filters. You see there's no number less than that, okay? So always take note of this. I can go up to this small undo here and I click that undo sign, and then it takes my data back where it was, and then I go back into my filters, and then I select all now, and it brings everything here. So just learn how to navigate around these areas. It will help you a lot to do a lot of amazing things with your visual. So to connect your form to Power BI, you need to find the API. So let's go. So right here, I'm going to come here, go to my data, and then go down to, first of all, go to setting, go to sharing, and then make sure that these two options are clicked. Once they are clicked, go back to your data, go here to download, go to this advanced option, make sure you select single and separated columns, make sure you come here save as dashboard, and then here I'll prefer to also choose this here. The reason we are doing this is because we want to be able to quickly pick this form amongst many other forms or amongst many other APIs, okay? And then make sure you choose XLS, which is Excel. I also choose label here, and then I want to select all my questions, and then here I'm going to come here and click export. Once I click export, it brings the data down here, downloaded down here. I see it here. Make sure that my questions are selected. I come up here and I click this link up here, and I copy from here right up to the HTTPS, open a different browser, paste it there, and then I write API with small letter /v2/assets. Make sure your asset has a/, then I'll delete that. Come now to this form where we are, click this URL because it is unique to this particular form. I'll select that and I copy, Ctrl C, come here and I paste the URL there, /export/settings and /. So take note of this code here, and remember that this URL is unique to this form. If you want to use another form, you copy that specific URL from that form, which is already given here each time you open the form here. Okay, you can already see that the word form is printed here to show that I am in the form. Okay, and then once this is done here, we come down and we press enter. It brings us to this API. If I click here, Ctrl F, this small option appears here, and then I start writing dashboard. You see that it goes and pick this API specific form. Okay, so that's the reason for that. Now I'll just come here straight away. We have three links here. We have the first one stored in SCV, the other one stored in Excel. I'll just come here, click this one, right click, and then I copy. Okay, once I copy, I'll bring it into my Excel sheet here, and I go right up to data. Once I go to data here, I'll go to select data from other source, and then I want to get it from web. So I'll just choose web option, and then I'll paste it inside there. Now I'll just click Ctrl V and then I paste it here. Now the data is pushing us to Power Query. So Power Query is going to extract that data from our Kobotoolbox and bring it into the Power Query system, which we have here. Now I want to preview. You see that we already have 3 submissions right there. And I'll just go here and say transform data, and now I want to take it right up to my Power Query to start transforming. So we can also use this API here. You see this API here, we can also use it to connect our form to Power BI. So I'll just right click, choose the option that says SCV file, and then I'll right click that option, and then I copy that link, bring it into my Power BI here, go up to get data here, go to web, and I click. Now once I click web, it opens up, shows me the space where I'll paste that particular link. The moment I paste that link, it automatically extract that data from my Kobotoolbox. So that is it, as simple as that. So that's my data after designing and creating that API. It brings it up here and it's taking me now to Power Query. See, that's my Power Query, very beautiful up there. So here now I can just say transform data, and it brings me to the interface of Power Query itself, where I can begin to transform this data right now. You see that the data is right here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 submissions. So this is my data. I can just clean from here and then export or import into my Power BI interface and start visualizing. So right now, this is our form here. We have put in data, and when data comes in, what you need to do is go to where you have data. When you open data here, you would see what the respondents have brought in. You will be able to analyze your data in a quick visualization way by just looking at your data and then telling whether data is coming in or not. So right now I am around the table option. If I come to report, I can just begin to glance through. You see that it tells me how many people have answered selecting Manu and how many people selected Indian. So you just have this quick automatic analysis that Kobotoolbox itself does it for you. It reviews the data for you. You see, it tells you how many people have submitted, gives you detailed, and this report is very useful. You can just come here, around here, and then you print this report from here. Okay, always take note of that. And then I can put it in a full screen. You see, my report now is in a full screen. So I can analyze this data, start showing you what is happening with providing food, providing school supplies, etc. Okay, I can go back up there and I go back to a small screen. Now I always advise, each time we are in our Kobotoolbox, always try things. If I click here, it gives me different formats of visuals. I'm getting here because we are almost getting into Power BI, because this is what we are going to be seeing in Power BI. So this is the work of Power BI, just visualizing. So if I don't like this particular visual here, I can just come here, click this small 3 dots, and I take pie chart. Now it shows red. If I take horizontal and I click reset, you see that it resets and gives me something. If I take vertical and I click, you see that it resets. I'm not even sure if this is resetting. Let me choose pie chart so I really see. Okay, so I have to just choose. When I choose pie chart, I click save. Okay, so if you want it to change, you have to choose save, not reset. So if I choose this vertical, this horizontal, and I click save, you see that it turns to vertical. Okay, depending on how I want my visual to look. If I come here and I choose this and I say I want it to go in a donut chart, and I click save, you see that it turns to a donut chart, and then still gives me the analysis the way I want it. Now the next thing I can do here is go back to my gallery. If they were putting in pictures, I'll see it here. Let me go back to this table and show you something very important. If I go back to this table, there are things that you might want to be doing here. Let's say there was a submission here that is not clear, and you want to change and fix it. Maybe the respondent called you and said, oh, I was supposed to put my mother's name, but I just put my father's name. So what you are going to do is simple. You come to this small pen here, go to that particular question. Let's say is the first question, right? Go to this small pen here. It shows you edit. But before we go to edit, let's go to view and see that question. Now you want to see that question very clearly. So it shows you that particular question. How many they have put in terms of IDP host, how many they have put in terms of sector, what they have put in terms of the different regions, etc. So it shows you. So you can go first to view and really view the data, and then call back and say, hey, maybe this data you put is not correct. I think you should have put your mother's name, or I think you should have put 10 instead of 20, because these are the realities. Here now, it gives you different options. You can now edit. You just click edit. Once you click edit, it brings you the form just the way that individual answered the form. So whoever answered this form, this is what you put. Okay, these are the items that you have put. So I can edit it and change. Let's say I wanted to say, okay, maybe we were supposed to put, maybe you were supposed to just put 10 boys and 10 girls, and then maybe we are supposed to have 20 children. Okay, maybe this is the correct data. I'm just giving an example, right? I have done that changes. So what I'm going to do now, I'll submit again here. So I'm the one control. So you say, okay, good. So it tells me that there's a problem here, because total children must be equal to total status. I'll come here, I put my 20, and then I come here and I share this 20 amongst these different statuses. And I come here and I say 5, and I come to IDP here again and I say 5. Once I say 5 and I click submit, now the data goes successfully, because remember we put a condition saying that our total status must be equal to our total sex, which is total children. Now we have just corrected that data. If we go back to that data, which is the first data, you would see that changes were made. I'll just click review here. Always adopt this practice of always going up here to this small icon here and clicking after you take any action in your Kobotoolbox. You see that that data has changed. We now have 10, 10, 20, 5, 10, you see. So we now have our calculations here, which is total status giving us 20, just as we make changes. That's the first thing. You might want to delete a question. If I want to delete any question, maybe a question came in here and I didn't like the form of the question, and I want to call the respondent back and say, hey, this question you have answered is wrong, or maybe the people you met was wrong, this is not the right way I want you to do it. You can just come here and click. Once you click here, it shows this tick. You can still come here and edit and go back to where we are coming from, or you can just come here and delete, right? So I want to delete this. There's a question I see here. I'm already seeing some blanks here. I'm not comfortable, so I'll just come here and I click delete. So someone was asking, can we mistakenly delete? You cannot mistakenly delete, because each time you click any delete in the system, it first of all asks you, are you sure you want to delete? So it gives you a second prompt, and then you click deleted. So we have deleted that particular question.